Welcome to Making Your Digital Mark. I am Lisa Apolinski, your host and your authority on authority power. And yes, we are going radio old school today because I'm having a little bit of a glitch with my camera. It's not liking me today. And Alicia Williams, my guest, is being super gracious about it. And we want you to focus on the conversation and not worry about anything else. And I am so excited to have Alicia here. Alicia, welcome. I'm so
Thank you
happy
so
that you're
much.
here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So, I know all about you. I know your area of genius. I know the type of people that you work with, who you serve, and what problem you solve. Can you do a little synopsis for the audience as well?
Yeah, happy to. So I'm Alicia Williams. I am the co-founder of Aliste Marketing Collective, which is a full service marketing team where we specialize in really integrating with existing brands, teams, whether it's their C-suite or their marketing in-house teams to make their strategy come to life. Beyond that, I also real estate investing, and now our newest player on the street is really building a community specific to marketing and comm professionals, which I know we'll dig all into. But marketing, community, and just entrepreneurship has been my world for the last 20 years. So excited to talk about it.
Yes. And you and I were doing a little pre-planning before we got on the call, and I truly believe this. So, Alicia's brand, for everyone listening, is about brands with purpose, whether it is a social issue, whether it is giving back to the community, whether it is building a community. And Alicia, and I totally agree with this, believes that you can be profitable and have an impact on the world that we live in. It doesn't have to be an either or scenario. And this, and I don't want to call it a platform. I want to call it a movement. The momentum exchange is going to be, and already is, and this is going to be taking it to level 2.0, a meeting of the minds where you can come together, where you can brainstorm, where you can test ideas, where we're as a collective lowering risk,
Mhm.
lowering time it takes to execute, and lowering costs because many hands make the burden light. So,
Yes.
yes. So, Alicia, I would love to hear kind of the origin story. I know that when you and I were talking about it, um, you know, there's so many, I'm going to call them networking groups, and I'm putting quotations around it, where it's really everyone showing up with their own agenda and just trying
Mhm.
to sell their services.
Yes.
And I would love to hear that origin moment for you, where you were like,
Yep.
this could be better.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it back up probably when I first started Aliste. It was in 2008. Like I threw myself into the networking circle. I networked almost every night, in person, virtual events, you name it. I was there. And so the power of people and community has always been something that was with me at the very beginning of my entrepreneurial journey and the growth of not just my business, but my own personal brand as well. And then jump ahead several years, I'm very big on LinkedIn. My brother and I both own Elise Day Marketing, and we decided to create a LinkedIn group where we could have other marketers come together, whether just to talk through things, or for me as an agency owner, I rely on others within my space to help build the team to make the work come alive. So that was the original group idea. But then as we started really diving into it and having unbelievable conversations with partners, and what I mean by marketing and comms professionals is that a graphic designer may not consider themselves a marketer. You, Lisa, may not consider yourselves a marketer, but you are, right? Like we all touch different aspects of that industry. And so that's why we really say marketing and comms, because whoever is touching that sphere of influence is really what the group is meant to be. And so, in our conversations, in our own research, we really started uncovering that there's so many uh, events happening. There's so many networking circles already around. There's so many Slack channels already around. And I just felt as a business owner, it was so noisy. And I didn't know which ones to go to. I didn't know what conversations to insert myself. And sometimes it was the loudest voice was the only one that got heard in those groups. And so that didn't really feel like it fulfilled what I needed. The other real kind of barrier for me was a lot of these groups were about specifically building the business and passing referrals. And so there was a lot of pitching in there. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be able to talk to peers that were either higher in their career than I was or more exposed to different avenues of that space. But I also really love talking with the startup in the entrepreneur space that has so much learning to do that I've already gone through. And I can kind of share, like, avoid that, zigzag here. And so we set out to create this community in the last year, be more intentional and cut out the noise and be a safe space. So, when we have our Zoom discussion rooms, they're not recorded specifically for a reason. Like, we want this to be a space where you can bring your idea and get real opinions back, and not just my opinion from a marketer, but from a PR person, from an AI specialist, from an email specialist, from a publicist, like all different perspectives come into play. And so that's really where the idea behind the group came in. And then honestly, it just snowballed from there after the conversations.
Yeah, and I've done several momentum exchanges, and every single time I've walked away with just a little bit more knowledge that makes me a better consultant to my clients, makes me a better editor in chief to my authors, and just helps to level me up in a way that isn't overwhelming because it truly is what, like you said, marketing comms, and I would add sales in there too, what they're all struggling with,
Yeah.
what's happening with the buyer's journey, because
Mhm.
it's insane. The it's breakneck speed of change right now. And we've got to band together. I mean, because if you don't, you're gonna have a problem. Um,
Right.
and you did mention that there are AI specialists, AI experts, authorities that are in the group, and I think that's so critical. And I do want to just address my assistant is my AI assistant,
Mhm.
and I rely so much on different parts of AI, as do you. I know you've written articles about it, and um, you know, I would love to hear from you. How are you envisioning these founding members kind of coming together? And besides AI, what other expertise, what other areas of genius are you looking to really create this amazing, I'm going to call it like a melting pot. And just so
Yeah.
everyone knows, the way the momentum exchange will work is you do an application, and it's each individual will be looked at so that there's a balance, there's expertise, there's some overlap, but also just diversity and variety and different viewpoints and ways of thinking, which I also think is highly, highly unique. Normally it's like everyone join, and you're like,
Right.
no, 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 we want people who have true intentions and want to be part of the community. So how are you envisioning that group coming together?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like, we want people in there that want to be in there. And I think that a sure way to fail or not grow is when you think you know everything and you think your idea is the best without really pressure testing that idea. And we see this all the time in like live commercials that or billboards that go up and then the next day get pulled down because the brand was canceled or it backlash. Like filling a room with different experiences and different stages of somebody's career, different skill set is one of the most secret weapon you could ever have within your business because you can take an idea, whatever, Super Bowl idea, and how I would look at that idea is very different than maybe a C-level executive in a B2B brand, or how the fractional social media person would look at it. And so all of these perspectives, when used correctly, allow us to really test that idea, think about it differently, think about how that rollout and how we're going to measure it. All of those different pieces are like, they're so vital and they make a campaign an actual campaign rather than just an idea or a one hit wonder. You think about like the Got Milk, right? Like that people would save those magazine clippings of the pictures of the different athletes. Like that is a solid campaign that was thought through and then kept living on. It didn't
Yep.
just happen for that 1 year. And so that's where we see the real growth in the industry, the creativity part. Um, AI is only going to get stronger. It's only going to become more prevalent in what we're doing every day. There's going to be more and more companies that will say we could just do it ourselves. And to some extent, they probably can. But what AI can't do is it doesn't have taste. It doesn't have lived in experiences. It has the experience from whatever it's grabbing that's already readily available, but it doesn't have that human loop, which is so important. And when we're constantly on AI, which I am for work, and there's 100% a use case for how I use it and making making what I do stronger. But I do really care about what a human thinks about it because AI is not looking at that billboard. A human is looking at that billboard. And so, curating a space in the Momentum Exchange, we have the free LinkedIn group, which is over 4,000 members. And this would be the private space where we could really amplify and level up the members that are in there, the conversations that we're having, the resources that are readily available. So members come in, they agree to the community guidelines, they agree that whatever happens in the group stays in the group, so it is a safe space. And that is a huge differentiator that we want to maintain, whether we're one member or thousands of members.
Yes, absolutely. And you said a couple of things, and I was nodding my head quite a bit. Um, you talked about the idea of that human element, and I look at it as your experience brings a level of authority and nuance that AI can and will never capture because they never lived it and they never experienced it. And it's that emotional charge that drives what you think is the best outcome, right? And each of
Right,
us has our own unique experience and thought process. Um, the other thing is AI can be in a lot of ways just an echo chamber and just go absolutely. And what many of us need is a true, I guess I would call it a true strategist, right?
right,
A someone who's going to partner with you, who's going to help you make the right choices that maybe you can't see because they have an outside perspective. Um,
right.
my one of my clients, he writes, it's so cute. It's Hermie the HR hermit crab. And it's and I have his book right here because I'm going to post on LinkedIn later. Um, it is a illustrated book for HR professionals. And one of the things, and I absolutely love this, and I say it all the time, you can't read the label from inside the jar, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you're inside it, you can't see that the label says expired or hazard, but someone on the outside can. They can see something that you cannot. And I think the same is true for AI. And having these different viewpoints really help to position you into a very specific lane with a specific area of genius because generalists will struggle in the
Yes.
race with AI. Specialists get hired. And that's,
Yes.
and it's funny, that's something we see in the book business too. We don't call ourselves ghostwriters. We call ourselves book strategists because you might say, hey, I want to write a book about X. And there are a lot of publishers out there that will go, that's great. And we'll look at it and go, well, hold on a second. What are you hoping that book will do? What's your goal? Who are
Hmm.
you talking to? And asking these questions that may be a little irritating, but prevents you from spending money that you shouldn't,
Right.
wasting time, and again, like you said, going through all that trouble and launching a campaign only to pull it down within 24 to 48 hours because you were drinking your own Kool-Aid and you
Right.
didn't have someone to say, time out,
Hmm.
something isn't aligned here. And
Yeah.
that's how I see this group really working. That it's not, I'm going to poo-poo all over your idea, but it's, have you thought of this? Have you considered this? Is
Right.
this an issue? And for some of it, you'd be like, you might say, oh yeah, that could be an issue, or no, we've already addressed that, and that's great. But it gives you that cold read, that extra set of eyes that keeps you without, I think without it, you struggle. You could
Yes.
almost think
Yeah.
of it as they are they're if you're going bowling, they're the bumpers for the lanes. I know you have kids, and it can be so
Yep.
frustrating when everyone's getting gutter balls, but if you have the bumpers, you're going to hit something.
Yeah.
You're at least going to hit something.
And a great example of this is actually let's take the group. So, Chris and I thought through the group, all the different pieces of what we wanted in there. We had AI write the outreach messages to start, getting our existing LinkedIn members excited that this is coming. And reading through it, I was like, oh, gross. This is like cringeworthy. Like, this isn't me. And no matter how many different filters and guardrails I put in place, I finally get it to a place I really, really like. And I share it with a few different colleagues and all different stages of their careers, all different specialists in their own way. And what they felt was the highlight of the group was buried. And for me, because I'm inside the jar, it was hard for me to even see what the highlight of the group is because I designed the whole thing to be the highlight. So having again that human person to come in and say, yeah, I get where you're going here, but like as someone that would be a member, this is actually the golden nugget that we need to highlight. And that is the human loop that is so important. And no matter how much AI advances, you still need other people to not tell you that your work is great. Like the constructive feedback is so valuable. And
Yes.
so that's one part of it, right? So we have that mentorship, that human conversation, but then you take it a step further, and in our research we started connecting with different, again, professionals within the space, all different backgrounds and years of experience. And what kept them up at night? You always say this, right, Lisa? Like, what keeps
Yes.
them up at night? And we did countless polls and surveys, and the common thread actually was the foundation block behind our frameworks and templates room within the community. And not only did they want resources and templates, is that they wanted to know when to use them. What
Hmm.
decision will this actually help them, right? We always get inundated with courses. Take this course, read this white paper. But at the end of taking that course, at the end of reading that white paper, what decision will it actually help me make? And is that resource appropriate for me as a starting graphic designer? Is that the same resource that I'm going to be pushing to the C-level CMO? Like, absolutely not. The needs are completely different. The pressures are completely different. And that's where our templates and frameworks room comes in, where we have something literally for everyone within this space at all different times of their career and expertise to help them make decisions that they've identified are sitting on their desk and is putting pressure and keeping them up at night. And that is the space for them.
Yes, absolutely. And, I was thinking about it's not just with this group, it's not just, hey, I'm doing this marketing campaign for this client, and does this look okay? It's, hey, um, I'm thinking about, going industry adjacent and going after this group. Does anybody have experience with that? What are
Mhm.
some things that I should say, I shouldn't say? What kind of language should I be using so that those future clients know immediately that I get them?
Yes.
How am I building that trust? What have other people found? Is there anything about that industry that maybe I should go a different direction? So it's not just about the client work, it's about your career, your business, and having those kinds of conversations. And what I really am looking forward to with the group is, you know, I I love to learn, and I love learning about other people and learning about their experiences and being able to listen to someone else's experience and then bring that into my career path, my area of genius, I think is going to be absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait for that. Um, and I love the fact that there's going to be resources, there's going to be templates, there's going to be direction on how to use them because, you could throw a bunch of stuff out at people, and but if they don't know when's the appropriate time in the buyer journey to have this conversation, or they're asking this earlier, or they're asking this later, is that a problem? Is that a red flag? Should I be paying attention? And having those types of conversations, I think is going to be utterly amazing. And I think everyone in the group is going to see their profits go up, their
Mhm.
revenues accelerate, and it'll be easier to have conversations with right fit clients. And that's the other
Right.
thing. You know, I know you and I have had this conversation of, and I don't like calling them wrong fit. I call them South Star clients, right? You have your
Yeah.
North Star client where you wake up every day and you're super excited to work with them and you're like, this is going to be awesome. And I have had only a handful, you know, knock on wood, of South Star clients where I knew from the get-go this probably wouldn't be a good fit. And it's not that I couldn't deliver, it's that the experience that we would have together, because it really is a collaboration, right? And the
Right.
experience that we would have together would just be just not there. Um,
Yeah.
and I'd look at my calendar and see that person on my schedule, or I'd see them calling me, and you just get that dread, that
Yes.
pit in the bottom of your stomach, and you're like, oh, what's
Yes.
wrong now?
Hmm.
And in the world that we live in, and this is just utter chaos, and no offense to anybody, it's going to stay like this. This is going to be what we have to navigate. And you can complain all you want, but focusing on what you can control, and I tell my clients this all the time, focusing on what you can control will make your life so much better and make your energy worth outputting. because
Yeah.
you're focusing on things that matter, that move the needle, that can help your business get your fun meter on max, as my business coach Mark LeBlanc always says, and allows you to have that balance where every Monday you wake up and you go, all right, I got this. This is going to be a good
Yep.
week. And we all
Exactly.
deserve that.
Hmm.
We all
You know,
deserve that.
it's so true. Again, I built my business and my personal brand on networking and just constantly building relationships. And I was talking with one of my peers, and they were so stressed about a project they were working on with a client that was the South Star
Yeah,
client. And I'd been in their shoes. I knew exactly that feeling that they were having, and the Sunday scaries being every day. And I was able to share, like, this is what worked for me. This is what you kind of need to do. You need to reset expectations and yada yada and go through the whole thing. And at the end of that call, I was like, she's not the only one feeling this way. I wasn't the only one feeling this way. This group, the Momentum Exchange group, like, if that group existed at that moment, she would have been able to go in and talk in real time with members on the forum and be able to say, this is what's going on. And we would have been able to say, this is what we did. This is how it could work. Try this onboarding packet next time, or try this new decision framework that will help you, or get this book, like, that will absolutely change your mind on how you scope out the right clients. And because that didn't exist, and thankfully, like, we were already connected, and she was able to trust me to share that, it was fantastic. But I'm only one person's opinion.
right,
Now
right.
imagine if 10 other people said, oh my gosh, I've had this happen, and this is what worked for me. And now she could look at the different ideas and feedback and say, okay, which aligns better with how I do business and with how I have relationships, and then go from there. So again, the group is only as strong as the members. It's only as strong as the engagement. It's only as strong as the different perspectives that come into that. And that is why, we kind of niche into that specific ecosystem of marketing and comm. But it's men, it's women, it's any pronoun is in there. It's any age is in there. It's any amount of career experience that is in there, because when you have someone that is just starting out their business, they come with such fresh ambition. They
Oh,
literally have
yeah,
not dealt with the red flags that someone like myself, after 20 years doing this, coming in. And so their ideas are so pure and energetic, and you need that. You need that fire again sometimes, and
that's
surrounding
right.
yourself with that, right? And likewise, they need someone maybe in my seat being like, love it. However, these are the three things you really need to think about or have in your contract to protect you. Right.
Yes.
So that is why we're not saying only C level or only, startups, because when everyone comes together, amazing things truly do happen within a community.
Absolutely. So, can you just give a quick overview of I am confident that you're going to get a slew of people that are like, sign me up immediately.
Yes.
So, and I will have the link in the description in the video, and I'll also have it in the LinkedIn newsletter so that you can become one of the founding members. And it is limited to a certain amount, correct?
Yes, so it is limited to the first 50 become the founding members. Founding members are locked in for life. So regardless of any price changes, you are locked in. You get access to the events first. You get access to being featured in like fireside chats and our mentorship. There's a whole bunch of features that are really reserved for the founding members, who are going to help shape the growth of the group and the ideas that kind of come of it. So we're really excited to open up the doors to that first batch of members.
Ah, that's going to be amazing. And I got to do my application because I'm going to be a founding member, and I am like, crap, I don't think I filled out my application yet. And I need to do that like this week. So I apologize. I've told you like 5 times, I'm like, I'm going to be a founding member. And then I'm
Yeah,
like, oh
you
yeah, I have to
pass, you
act.
pass.
Yeah, but I still have to fill out the application. So I got to do that.
Yes,
Ah, that's amazing. And Alicia, if anyone wants to connect with you to learn more about the Momentum Exchange, to hire you,
Mhm.
because you are a full service agency, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so to get a hold of me, definitely if you could just drop my LinkedIn in this. I am always on LinkedIn. You can
Yep.
drop me a DM, and I can kind of talk through best solutions for you, or even just to connect. If you are in that marketing space and you want to get a little flavor of it without making a commitment, you can join our free LinkedIn group. To learn more about the Momentum Exchange, you can go directly to our website, themomentumexchange.com. Has all the information. You can join right from there. And then if you already love what you're hearing and you want to work directly with me, you can go to alistemarketing.com as well. So a whole bunch of different URLs thrown at you, but I'm sure you'll drop it in into the newsletter.
Yes. And I would say connect with Alicia on LinkedIn. That's
Yes.
Connect with Alicia on LinkedIn and then go to the Momentum Exchange. Those are your two
Yes.
to-dos. Do
Yes.
those two things and you won't regret it.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
awesome. Alicia, thank you so much for being on. This was amazing. And
Thank you for
again,
having
thank you
me.
for being gracious with the camera fun. Um, I'll eventually get that fixed. And I would love to leave everyone with this thought. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with people. And
Mm,
I would caveat that with you want to go with people who can help you get to your destination faster, with less risk, less issues, less costs, and less time. So, yeah, you want to go far, but you still want to do it with speed, accuracy, and momentum. I got to throw that in.
yeah.
And absolutely. And this group will help you to get there. And I am Lisa Apolinski, your authority on authority power. And we will see you in the next Making Your Digital Mark episode. Have a great day, everyone, and be the best version of yourself.